Welcome to Waves Lesson 2, Introduction to the Electromagnetic Spectrum. Okay, a quick bit of admin. So your tasks for Lesson 2 are listed 1 to 5 there, and there are 2 additional things that you need to be aware of. Red stars show information you need to know. Blue squares are questions for you to answer. Okay, starting with the stuff you need to know. From number 1. Number 1, complete and mark the remember task. Number 2, read through the Google Slides 4 to 6 and watch the video on 7. Number 3, complete the electromagnetic spectrum diagram on Google Docs. There's a separate worksheet for you to do, and you will find extra information on slides 8 to 12 if you have had problems researching this. Number 4, complete the try questions from slides 13 and 14. The answers are on 15 and 16. So once you've completed the try questions, mark your answers to see how you got on. And number 5, read through the task on slide 17 and complete it using Google Docs. Okay, so let's start right now. Okay, here are the remember questions. I suggest you pause the video at this point and complete the task. So here are the answers to the remember questions. Number 1, light and water waves are types of transverse wave. Number 2, wave speed equals frequency times wavelength. You may also have the symbol equation, which is V equals F lambda. That would also get you the mark. Number 3, sound waves, but you also could have had seismic waves. Both types are longitudinal waves, but the one that we are going to focus on in this set of lessons is sound waves only. Number 4, the unit of frequency is the hertz, and you may see this written in shorthand of a capital H followed by a small z. Number 5, the units of wavelength is the meter. Okay, let's now move on to the next slide. So we have a red star on this slide, so I would consider that you might want to stop the video and just note down the information off the slide. So the electromagnetic waves are transverse. All electromagnetic waves are transverse waves. Okay, light is a transverse wave. Light is part of the electromagnetic spectrum. The electromagnetic spectrum is made up from radio waves, microwaves, infrared, visible light, ultraviolet light, X-rays and gamma rays, and these are actually in the order that they would appear on the electromagnetic spectrum, starting with the longest wavelength and the least energy, which is the radio waves. So the shortest wavelength and the highest energy is the gamma rays, which are up here. Okay, here is a diagram. I'm sorry it's a little bit small, but you do have one of these on your Google Docs worksheet for you to complete. So the important information here, denoted by the red star, is this. All electromagnetic waves travel at the speed of light, which is 300 million meters a second. Okay. So instead of being the speed of light, it should really be the speed of electromagnetic waves. All right. Now, to put that into context, how fast that is, it goes around the Earth 7 times in 1 second, to the moon and back in about 2 seconds, and from the sun in about 8 minutes. Okay, so this this sheet is giving you information about the electromagnetic spectrum. It's also giving you information about the task that you need to complete, hence the blue square. this piece, this square here, is actually a link to the worksheet in the Google Docs. All right, so here you have the waveform of the electromagnetic spectrum. So at this end, it starts out being very flat and very long. And as we go from left to right, the wavelength, the heels, if you like, get closer and closer together. So they're getting really, really close now, really, 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 really close. And at this end, extremely close. Now, basically what you've got here is that the frequency of the waves is increasing as you go this way. In other words, the number of waves that you have passing a point in 1 second is increasing as you go up here from maybe a few waves per second to possibly a few million or billion waves per second. All right. So stop the video at this point. Use the Google Docs table for you to fill in. Complete the diagram of the electromagnetic magnetic spectrum. Okay, this is the video that we discussed. All right, I would suggest that you use the link in the PowerPoint, okay, because the one in the video won't work. Okay, welcome back. So on the next slides, we have information that you should have on your diagram. If for some reason you haven't, okay, don't panic. It's there. There's information on the following slides. Okay, because I know sometimes it's not possible to get on the internet or other areas. Okay, I find that too sometimes. So if you need the extra information, here it is. So radio waves, microwaves. Pause the video at any point that you need this information. Infrared waves, visible light, ultraviolet, X-rays and gamma rays. Okay, so I'm pleased to have given you a hand here. Okay, so once you've done your worksheet and it has got the similar information to what's been on the last slides, you can have more information. You can have about the wavelength and the frequency. You could have all sorts of extra information, how dangerous it is, what's it used for, all those kind of things on that worksheet. But once you've done that, have a go at these try questions. Okay, so number one, which part of the electromagnetic spectrum has the shortest wavelength? Number two, which part of the electromagnetic spectrum has the longest wavelength? Okay, try the following questions again. So this is the other three. So number three, which part of the electromagnetic spectrum has the highest frequency? Which part of the electromagnetic spectrum has the lowest frequency? And number five, which two parts of the electromagnetic spectrum are on each side of visible light? Okay, so welcome back. Here are the answers for the try questions. All right, number one. The part of the electromagnetic spectrum with the shortest wavelength is gamma rays, and you can see that from the diagram because those waves are very, very close together. All right, it has the most energy and the wavelength is very short. Number two, the part of the electromagnetic spectrum with the longest wavelength is radio waves. And if you remember from the diagram, you see that the wavelength is huge, building size. And that's basically why radio waves have the longest wavelength. Okay, number three. So the part of the electromagnetic spectrum with the highest frequency, as it should say, okay, is which bit? Yep, you got it. It's the gamma rays, okay, because the wavelengths are really squished together. So the waveform is really squished up together. There we go. The frequency is gamma rays. So number 4, the part of the electromagnetic spectrum with the lowest frequency is of course radio waves, and you can tell that because the wavelength is huge. Okay, as we said earlier, building size. And number 5, 2 types of electromagnetic spectrum on each side of visible light is infrared and ultraviolet. And on the next slide, this one here, you've got the assessment questions, okay, are on a separate quiz named Waves Lesson 2 Assessment. Complete the questions and submit your answers for marking. Okay, thank you for watching.